So let's start by looking at some of the important SQL statements. First one is the case. So case is used when we have more than two conditions to check. So the difference between case and is if is used when we have two conditions to check, but case is used when we have more than two conditions to check. So let's see how we can use a case statement. So in our sales table, we want to extract the years and make a new column within our existing SQL statement. That new column will fetch the year from the date table and list the year in the SQL, the new column that we will create. And also we want a case statement that will compare the sales value and will tell us whether the sales values are good or medium sales based on the condition we specify. So here we are specifying case statement within our select statement, select star from sales table. Then we are creating a new column by using a comma and case when the year of sales date column is equal to 2020, then give us 2020, else give us 2019. And we started the case, then we have to end it, and this is we are specifying the new column name as year. So in the second case statement, we are specifying a condition called where where sales value is greater than 80, then make it a good sales, otherwise make it a medium sales. And we are giving this new column the name sales type. So let's execute this query. So here you can see the two new columns have been created, year and sales type. So this is how we use a case statement. So the next important SQL statement is a subquery. So subquery is used when we want to fetch a new column from another table without using a join. So let's see how we can use a subquery. So here we are using select star from sales table, and this is how we use a subquery. Within the brackets, we are fetching customer name from the customer table, where the customer ID of our sales table is equal to the customer ID of our customer table. So from sales table, where we are picking the customer ID and we are passing into the customer table to fetch the customer name, and this name we are attaching to our existing query. Let's see how it works. See, now we have a new column that is a lookup column from another table. The next is the union. So with union, we can merge two result sets into one result. Remember to use union. Both our result sets should return the exact number of columns. So here we are using a count keyword to count the number of records from sales table, and we are creating a dynamic column by assigning a temporary value called sales table and similar for the customer table. Remember, for count we are using exact number of columns, so we are using count and table name from sales table, count and table name from customer table. Then only we will be able to use a union. So with union, we have merged two result sets into one. So here we can see our sales table has 2 records, customer table has 4 records. Let's look into the next keyword called into. So into is used to replicate or to clone a table into another table with a new name. So for example, we are cloning our customer table into a new table called customer cloned by using into. So this is how we use into. Select star into our new table name from our old table name. And once we execute it, our customer table has been cloned into a customer table cloned. Now we have two tables, customer table as well as our cloned customer table. So we can see the new table. So the next keyword is truncate. Remember we used a delete in our CRUD operation. So delete is used to delete the rows, but truncate is used to truncate the whole table. So it will remove all the records from our database table. So truncate will refresh our schema, but delete will not refresh our schema. What it means is, for example, you have 4 rows, and if you can see the index has been created as 4. So with truncate, it will refresh our index, so the next inserted value will start from 1. But in terms of delete, if we delete the 4th row, so the index will not be refreshed, so the next value will start from 5. So let's move on to the next drop table. So the drop is used to drop the table. So let's drop this new clone table. So now our table has been dropped. We no longer have this table in our SQL. So if you run the command, it will say invalid object. So it doesn't recognize any table with the name customer table cloned. The next one is distinct. Distinct is used to fetch the distinct values from a table. For example, if a table has 2 rows with similar values, the distinct will just fetch the one out of those two duplicate values. So let's use our distinct keyword. Select distinct, name of columns we want to fetch, and distinct will fetch the unique rows from these two columns. So here you go. So if you want to see originally, now we have customer 1, 2, and 3, but if you look at the original table, here we have customer 1 and 2 and 3, but the third customer is repeated twice. So our distinct statement merged and fetched the unique values. You can see customer 3 only once. The next is the if exists. So if exists is similar to the if statement, but with if exists, we can see whether there are some records in a table or specify some condition in the if. If it's true, then perform some operation. If it's not true, then perform some other operation. So in this example, we are checking if there are records in our customer table, then select the sales table. If there are no records, then display there are no rows. Let's see what happens. So we got the result from the sales table. That means there are records in the customer table. So to go to the else part, let's empty our customer table. So for this scenario, I will create a new table called customer table cloned, and I will truncate the table so that there is no data in the table. And after I have truncated, I will use the customer table clone to see if the if statement gets into the false condition or not. So if we go here, so we got the error message saying there are no rows. That means the table is empty and it went into the false part. So these are the important SQL statements to remember. Thank you.